Wednesday morning, beautiful Wednesday morning, 6 May, 9/11 in our city. A beautiful morning. It's time to be outside if you want to get outside because the weather is nice and promising going to be nice throughout the week. So we are ready to enjoy some of that summer weather, enjoying the spring-like weather. Again, God bless you. Good morning to you. You're listening to Rise and Shine. We're on the first Wednesday this time. Normally we every second and fourth Wednesday. And inform everyone. Talk to the people. Let them know. Rise and Shine come on every second Wednesday from 9 to 10. And what we do with that, we share with the community resources that the county has for us. You know, a lot of time we go without because we don't know what's available. But Cumberland County has resolved that problem for us. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we come on the air to share with you resources. A lot of time, most of the time, free resources that's available that would help you out in our Cumberland County area and surrounding areas. So make sure, call somebody, tell somebody we're on the air. We're going to continue to do this because you need to know what's available to you. We've been sharing some powerful, last week we were talking about healthy living and sharing how you can live healthy and resources available. Well, this week is a powerful week, and it's informed. What this really involves is what everybody needs to know about. Everybody's talking about is economic development. Meaning what's here in Fayetteville, what's here in Cumberland County, what's around us, what's here now, what's coming. We're going to talk about this morning so that you can be aware of the resources that's available to you. When we start talking about economic development, it's about growth. And really, Fayetteville is really about growth more so than you ever know it will be about. It's about creating opportunity and building a stronger future for everyone in Cumberland County. In fact, I've been told that this month, the 4th through the 8th of May, is Economic Development Week. You know, and I know they got Nurses Week. I think that's going on. Teachers Week. All kind of weeks. Now I understand we got Economic Development Week. That's right. And I would love for us to get that to be a month. And a little bit about the goal, and then we're going to share about who we have with us. The goal of economic development is simply to create opportunity, attract investment. Catch it out. Each one now is to create opportunity. Everybody looking for an opportunity. It's attract investments and improve the quality of life for our residents. And we have none other than Mr. Rob here with us this morning from the economic. In fact, he's the executive vice president of the economic development area to help us. And we also have Miss Brittany, the marketing manager. She's the one going to bring them all in. Yes, and Mr. Rob going to put them to work and develop. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Help Fayetteville, Cumberland County understand what economic development is and what role you play in that, Rob.
Yes, sir. So Rob Patton, I'm the executive vice president for the Fayetteville Cumberland Economic Development Corporation. Retired military, as we were discussing earlier, did 26 years.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for yours. I've been retired 6 years already.
All right. And there is life after the military.
And we'll talk about that too. There is life after the military. And so what we do is try to bring in new industries to the area through different sectors. As we discussed, manufacturing is really one of our focus areas, always has been, always will be. But why is that important? It brings, as we talked, opportunity. So if we're bringing in jobs, specifically manufacturing, those are higher paying, higher skilled. Bringing in investment to the community. So that's people investing in the community, but it also increases the tax base. Why is that important? You know, currently we're talking schools, right? Mm-hmm. So the more that we can increase the tax base, the more services the local municipalities can provide to the citizens. Mm-hmm. So if you don't increase the tax base, if it just stays stagnant, think about roads not getting repaired. Think about the schools not getting renovated or building new schools. Parks, recs, libraries, you know, police and fire. You know, we're all paid through tax dollars. So that is one of our charges, is to increase the tax base to provide for the citizens to continue to grow the economy as well as the communities.
And that come a lot from the manufacturing jobs period.
Jobs period.
So that the jobs, what you're saying, help me make sure I'm tracking, so the community, if we can get manufacturing jobs and other type jobs, that creates the tax base, which increase the area, improve the areas rather.
That's right. And so, you know, as we bring jobs in too, so for example, that we discussed the Amazons. We brought in both Amazons. Those were two of our projects. So we have the last mile off of Dunn Road, and then we've got the big fulfillment center over there off of the Military Business Parkway off I-295. So not only do those bring in the jobs immediately, but you've got the trucks that come in. You've got, the hotel now that's over there, all the area.
Yes.
So it really is a force multiplier for the economy as you start getting in other industries or businesses, as we talk, and one of the other things is too, is you had Brian Honda in here earlier at the previous show. The more that we can bring in with the jobs, better high paying, people are more likely to go. They have a little bit more disposable income or more income at their avail that they can go buy a new car.
Okay.
Or they can go to the movies, go out to dinner. So it's critically important to bring in new jobs and new investment for the whole depth and breadth of what we've discussed.
So when we start talking economic development, we are mostly talking jobs. We're talking jobs, and everybody want to talk about jobs. That's what they need. We need is jobs.
Right. So
economic development. When I hear that rings jobs.
That's a good way to look at it. And I don't want to downplay though the investment, because when we have Project Arrow, which is going in up by the Goodyear facility, it's going to be a titanium manufacturing facility, and they're going to be providing to the aerospace industry. They are investing $800 million for the phase one to build their facility, to improve the area. They're going to have very high paying jobs, 300 jobs, but that brings in other jobs and industries that they supply to and that are going to buy the product. So that just begins to spool out, and that really is just that inject in the economy. So it's the investment with the jobs, and along with that, I don't want to not discuss the training that goes with that. So as new industries come in, as there are developing technologies that are out there, as we bring the industries in, regardless of what sector it is, that drives K through 12 schools, FTCC, FSU methods, etc., to develop new programs. So we're staying ahead of the game with the workforce development. So that's another critical piece. It's not necessarily directly, but indirectly, as we get new industries in and new investment, new workforce, that generates the need for that workforce development in those emerging technologies.
That cliche you've heard, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which one do we try to get first, the training, the manufacturing, the jobs, or are they simultaneously? Is that fair to ask?
It is fair to ask. So, and really, it's almost hard to answer because it depends, right? So if we are trying to go after cyber, let's say, but we don't have a cyber program, industries a lot of times won't come here because they'll say, what's my workforce look like? And if we can't show definitively that we have this talent pipeline for you, they'll say, hey, great community, great, like what you have, but we don't have the workforce that we need to do this. So staying ahead of what's happening in the economy globally, what's emerging, if it's the cyber thing, we work with K through 12 with our centers of higher education on, hey, we need to develop programs to attract these industries, these sectors, if we want them.
So, okay. Well, Ms. Brittany, let me ask you this again. We're kind of it's twofold questions for you. But it says, when we say economic development, what does that actually mean for everyday residents? And then we're going to come back and blend in with that. What makes our community attractive to businesses and employers?
Absolutely, and that's a great question for myself. I'm only a little over 2 years in the field of economic development, and so I was one of those residents that was like, what is economic development, before I jumped into FCEDC. And I think, to me, it's kind of what we've hit on. It's job creation, it's quality of life, it's a busful economy that we have here in Fayetteville and Cumberland County. It's driving down the road and seeing the Amazon plant, seeing the hundreds of cars that are out there, because there's jobs, whether it's third shift, first shift, or second shift, that we have that opportunity no matter what your lifestyle is here.
So we're making progress. So what makes our community attractive to businesses and employers?
Absolutely, and that's my main job as a marketing manager. Is I want to tell our audience, which is markets outside of Fayetteville and Cumberland County, why they want to come here. And I think it's our prime location along I-95. That's the East Coast Main Street. We're halfway between Miami and New York, and that's key for distribution and logistics companies. And we're also the 6th largest city and county in both Carolinas, so both North and South Carolina. We're the number 37th diverse city in America. So kind of tells to, like, as Rob was talking, when we're recruiting international companies, we have people that are here that are diverse, and we've got 85 plus spoken languages in our school system. So key points like that, kind of making us a well-rounded community for them to have their footprint in.
I love to brag about that. Now we love Fayetteville area. We love to brag, and when I'm trying to draw people, I love to tell them our location. I said, we are just centrally located. If you want to go to D.C., you can go to D.C. We're in the middle. If you want to go down to Florida, we're right in the center of all of it. And got I-95, the main corridor that runs straight up and down all of it. That's great. So transportation. Now, so hit on that, because always I know when you're talking about industry, especially toward Fort Bragg, transportation roadway is critical. Help us out on that a little bit. Does that play? I know that play an important role.
It absolutely does. Because whether you're bringing in supplies or raw material to manufacture something, or whether you've got to get your product out to the market, the road networks, the rail, being close to the seaport are critical. Those are things that the transportation network is something the industry looks at significantly, because if you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's going to be a huge cost to either bring in your raw material or push your product out, that's something above and beyond what they would like to do. So the fact that we are so centrally located, that we've got the connectivity through rail, sea, air, and ground, that's a very attractive fact
That's a big plus for us.
Yes, sir.
And I know 295 has really been a booster.
Huge.
It's been like huge in making that happen. Now, let me ask you this. And either one of you can help us with that. What type of industries are we focusing on right now, and why that type industry? What type and why?
Let me take it, or you got it?
I'll let Rob take this. He handles a lot of our projects.
So because we already talked manufacturing, but that's not an industry. That's a sector. We look heavily at the defense industry. Why? Fort Bragg's here, largest military installation in the world by population. 7,000 service members separate on average a year from the installation.
7,000?
7,000, yes, sir. Which, going back to your last question, is why a lot of industries look at us, because we have that reoccurring talent pipeline that is unparalleled with any other community in the country. So a lot of companies look to come here because they want to hire veterans. They recognize, here's someone that has dedicated their service to the country. They're mature, they have been trained, they show discipline, and I always tell people, how hard is it to get somebody there that shows up on time, in the right uniform, typically with a good attitude, and is ready to go?
You used to get taking orders.
100%.
Structured.
Yes, sir. So our community stands above and beyond sister communities that are being looked at simultaneously with us, because we have that talent pipeline. So defense sector, we're looking heavily at cybersecurity. You can turn on the news anytime and see, that's hot right now.
Yes, that is.
So it's not just the cyber, but it's the security piece too. And this is one thing I want everybody to understand too, is a lot of people think cybersecurity is like, big. If you have a business, you need to have cybersecurity in mind, because it's easier to hack into someone's account for their small business and do some nefarious things. Cybersecurity is not just the big corporations. There is a lot of
small business.
Yes, sir.
Your everyday computer stuff is
100%, 100%. And then going back into the manufacturing and things like that. And that is one thing we are seeing, is the preponderance of our projects that are coming to look at us are manufacturing, and that's a great spot to be in.
There's a lot of us here that didn't even know you existed, as far as what you're doing. And I heard you mention your organization is one of the ones main that's responsible for bringing in Amazon and the other. What started? Where are you located? And contact information.
100%.
Help us out with that, Rob.
Sure, I can help with that.
That's
we are
area.
located.
That's that market. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All eyes on you.
We are located at 611 West Russell Street. So we acquired the old Homemakers Furniture right next to Highsmith Rainey, across from the Fayetteville area transit bus station. Our contact information is info at info@fcedc.com. Again, that's info at F as in Fayetteville, C as in Cumberland, E as in economic, D as in development, and C as in corporation. And then you can find us at www.fcedc.com. And of course, we're across all social channels as well.
And that phone number, everybody, for the people that's not computer.
No.
Sure.
There's no bots answering the phone.
Yes,
There's no bot answering the phone.
You can reach us at 910-500-6464.
That was 500-6464.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right.
And just to kind of piggyback off of what Robin mentioned, we're going after these industries. And a part of the ways that we do that is not just through our social media channels, but we're actually boots on the ground. So our boss, President and CEO Robert Mangians, is actually up in Washington, D.C. this week for Select USA Investment Summit. So there are various trade shows, conferences that we will attend where companies internationally will come to the United States to be a part of, so we can kind of be those boots on the ground, shaking hands, introducing ourselves, and starting those connections one-on-one. As he mentioned, defense, we look at a lot of counter-drone shows, something where you're not going to expect a lot of economic development organizations. We want to be the big voice in a room that doesn't have a lot of us, so we can have that competitive advantage.
Now, as you said, having 7,000 service members leaving the military every year, a lot of them, no doubt, they got home they want to go to.
Right.
But like myself, when I retired, I said I decided to stay at the last place, my last duty station. A lot of times people be making contact. So what interaction do we have with Fort Bragg that help us kind of capture, grab hold of some of those soldiers that's on their way out of the military before they make their mind up to go back to wherever?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say the first thing is the community, right?
Okay.
Because we talked. You first duty assignment, retired here. I came back multiple times. So the community and the support the community has is really a deciding factor for a lot of guys and gals that are getting out. So even before anything, they want to stay here. But I know you're aware of the transition assistance program on post. Everybody has to go through.
Right.
That's a great program. What we are establishing at our new building at 611 West Russell is one of our charters is to help get separating service members training opportunities, job placement, bringing in recruiters so that we retain that talent here.
Okay.
We want all 7,000 to stay here, right? That's not going to happen because,
right.
the wife, the husband has family back in Iowa and they're
right.
taking over the farm, whatever. But we want to retain that talent here and to further grow.
And it's a good talent, too.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes,
Industry
sir, it is.
knows if they can get a soldier, as you say, already well trained, most of the time well disciplined.
That's right.
They've got a gold mine on their hand with that.
And that ties. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so the one project that I want to talk about, which is really cool, and I don't even know if your listeners know about this, but on the note with the soldiers and hiring veterans and manufacturing, Yaden Domes is now actually building their facility here. If you're not familiar with Yaden Domes.
You say Yaden?
Yaden. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, the Carolina Panthers have the practice field with the big dome over it. Have you seen that? That's air-supported dome.
Uh-huh.
Yaden Domes is only one of 3 companies in the world that manufactures those.
Okay.
He has now relocated his entire headquarters manufacturing contact teams here.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, from Minneapolis. And they are building their facility out by the airport. And what's going to be really cool about it, a lot of things, but it's going to be an air dome like you see in Charlotte, and he builds his domes inside of it. So as you fly in and out of Fayetteville Regional, you'll be able to see the domes, and we are the world home for Yaden Domes. He's got them all over the world. But an interesting story, he literally called me one day and said, hey, we're looking in, I'm not going to tell you where, but some other communities. And he said, I figured I'd just call and see what you guys have going on.
Okay.
We talked for about 45 minutes. He said, I'll be there on Tuesday.
Oh,
he came here. We showed him everything. He's like, I'm done. We're coming here.
Are you serious?
I'm dead
Just
serious.
like that?
Just like that. But what he said was, we looked around and, we never looked at you guys. And I don't know why, because everything about the community, the workforce, the affordability, the central location, the veteran hiring. Matt is the CEO. He's hiring a lot of veterans. He's like, why did we not look at you? Because
so you asked him what took you so long?
I think I actually said that. But, so here we're going to be manufacturing these sporting facility domes in Fayetteville, being exported around the world. He's got them in the Middle East, he's got them in Germany, he's got them the NFL, most NFL teams, their practice fields are the Aiden domes.
Listen, this is interesting and very educational. You listen to Rise and Shine Cumberland County, where we come to you every second and fourth Wednesday to bring information, great information that's happening right here in Fayetteville, resources that's available. We've got to take a quick break, but we've got Rob and Brittany here with us from Economic Development, and they're sharing some of the wonderful things that's happening and getting ready to happen in Fayetteville. You need to stay tuned because this can affect you and your family. Please stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
Pastor George Coney Jr., pastor of House of Prayer, Church of God in Christ, 3322 Big Piney Grove Road, Clinton, North Carolina. You're listening to Wake Up.
This is Sarah Alford, and I am the pastor of Joy Fellowship Outreach Ministry, located at 18336 Highway 87 West, Tar Heel, North Carolina. And I am excited to be a part of Wake Up.
Increasing conflict involving Iran is impacting drivers and gas prices in North Carolina as the state begins Tourism Week. 5 Republican state senators in Indiana who were backed by President Trump defeated candidates who opposed a Republican redistricting plan. After federal agents in Minneapolis fatally shot ICU nurse and American citizen Alex Preddy, Tom Homan was sent in by President Trump to de-escalate tensions. He's been interviewed this week dealing with ICE agents and their conduction of random sweeps. Hurricane season starts on June 1st. North Carolina Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey says it's time now to get ready. Trailer parks are rapidly disappearing in North Carolina, with up to a quarter of the state's 3,000 parks estimated to have been sold recently. Mike Rayleigh, NCI News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The city of Fayetteville is excited to celebrate the groundbreaking for the new Fire Station 16 on Friday, May 8th at 10 a.m. The new station will be located at 1710 Cedar Creek Road. The fire department is relocating Fire Station 16 from its temporary location to a new permanent site. That new facility will be about 11,000 square feet. It will include living and working spaces for firefighters. The city of Fayetteville was granted planning funds from the U.S. Department of Transportation's Safe Streets and Roads federal grant program to develop comprehensive safety action plan. That plan strives to create a safer, more connected Fayetteville for all users, prioritizing equitable, innovative, and sustainable solutions to eliminate traffic-related injuries and fatalities. They are looking for community input to help shape the plan. You can get details about how to provide that input if you go online to their website. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
A mild start to your Wednesday morning with temperatures mainly running in the lower 60s. We'll see highs today in the low to mid 80s with a stray shower possibility. Heading into the overnight and early Thursday morning hours, rain chances rising, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, and temperatures in the upper 60s. Highs 78 to 80 degrees Thursday with scattered showers and storms likely, maybe a couple strong ones. Lows then dropping into the low to mid 50s by Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN Weather Center.
It's one of life's simplest comforts. Turning on the tap and knowing clean, safe water's there. A glass before bed, a warm shower in the morning, water to cook, clean, and care for loved ones. So often, it's something that can be taken for granted. But behind every drop is a commitment to quality, safety, and service. At Fayetteville PWC, providing award-winning water is more than a service. It is a responsibility and a point of pride. Delivering clean, reliable water remains a top priority for Fayetteville and surrounding communities every single day, because clean water supports healthy families, strengthens neighborhoods, and helps communities thrive today and for generations to come. Discover more about the difference quality water makes at faypwc.com. Fayetteville PWC, always there, always on, always built to serve.
Hello, my name is Pastor G.M. Thompson, the pastor of New Beginning Christian Faith Center. We're located at 4326 Coventry Road. Our order of services are, we have Sunday morning Sunday school at 9:30 a.m., morning worship at 11 a.m. We have Wednesday Bible class at 7 p.m. Our motto is, it's all about God. You're welcome anytime. Come and join us. You will be blessed of the Lord.
If you can no longer work because of illness or injury, you should be collecting Social Security disability insurance benefits. Call Brent Adams now for a free consultation. Don't give up just because you've been turned down. Brent Adams has helped thousands collect full disability benefits, even after they've been turned down. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
If you only look at what is,
you might never attain what could be. Come on, catch the vision and join the team.
This is Bishop Johnny Ray Jr. of the Churches of Worship Worldwide, Apostle J.A. McDonough, 2118 Owen Drive. And we are proud to be a part of the Wake Up. Come and join the team.
Our listening for community for staying tuned. Again, you're listening to Rise and Shine Cumberland County. We come every second and fourth Wednesdays, although we're on the first Wednesday this month because of scheduling glitch. However, remind the community, we want them to know, we want everyone to know what's available, what's happening in Fayetteville, things that's being brought in, the events, and so this is where you find out about your surrounding community, and now we're learning about the industry that's coming in, economic development of Fayetteville. And what this means to you is where your child would get that education and move somewhere else. If they know there's a lot of things, great things going on here in Fayetteville, that would cause them to want to stay. And I bring that up. Our daughters, like I said, we retired right here, and we have two girls, and we want our children to move in this area. And the first thing they were asking us, well, Mom, Dad, what's here for us?
Right.
So, and I know we want to answer a lot of other questions. So since we're in that vein right now, help that parent that's trying to convince their child to stay in the Fayetteville, Cumberland County area. Give them a clue as to what's available to them, what could be available to them. Help us out with that, because that's what I had to do. And fortunately, both our daughters stayed, and they're doing well here.
Right.
They're so glad to stay. Every parent wants their children. It saves with gas high. It saves us on driving right now, so they're close by.
You got it. Well, so that's a great question, and that's something we always talk about. So we'll start at the post-high school. So as we talked off air, FTCC has literally a nationally recognized cyber and cybersecurity program.
Nationally recognized.
Nationally recognized, and the White House has chartered FTCC to help other colleges develop programs like theirs. It is the gold standard when it comes to cyber and cybersecurity.
Oh, wait a minute, I missed something. You said the FTCC is national, and they're teaching other colleges.
Yes, sir.
So our children don't have to go to other college to get FTCC is training. Did it say that again, please? Because that didn't quite. Register.
So we talked previously about cybersecurity, how important it is. FTCC has a nationally recognized.
That's the part I was trying to highlight.
Yes, sir. Cyber and cybersecurity program that they are assisting other colleges, four-year colleges, to set up and establish cybersecurity programs like theirs.
So
that's
our kids trying to go to another college for cybersecurity, what they don't know is the college right here is training those colleges. Am I saying this right?
You were saying exactly correct.
So where they're going to get training, the training is right. The trainer is here.
That's exactly right.
I just want to add that out because that we would be hard to believe that. We think we got to get up and go somewhere else to get greater when you're saying it's right here in Fayetteville.
Right here. So, you look at the news, AI and machine learning. Everybody's talking about AI and not data center. I'm just talking the AI and machine learning. A lot of people probably don't know this, but my opinion, the leading AI expert in the state of North Carolina is one of the professors at FSU. FSU has a tremendous computer science program that focuses on AI and machine learning right here in town. And, we talk FSU with the nursing program that I know you all are very familiar with, the teaching program, the School of Business. It is a gem in this area, FSU. Methodist. I'm sure everybody knows this, but if they don't, this summer our medical school opens. An MD medical school opens right next to Cape Fear Valley. When it's fully man-staffed with students in 4 years, we're going to have 480 medical students here. Now, as you talk about kind of the force multiplier, add in all the instructors, all the staff that'll be there, all the different companies that come to support just the medical school, huge. And then what we find is, I think it's 70%. 70% of people that go to medical school tend to stay kind of in that area. So now we're going to be attracting and retaining doctors in the area to provide better health care. That brings up a higher quality of life.
It's been trained right here.
It's been trained right here. And then as we talk Cape Fear Valley, they have 7,100 employees. And not all employees are doctors or nurses, right? Okay. There's the admin folks, there's security, there's all the different staff that goes to support Cape Fear. So those are the kind of jobs right here, right now, on top of all the things that we have brought and that we're working to bring. I think everybody knows about the Goodyear. That's been open since 1969, back when it was Kelly Springfield. In 2003, I guess it was, Goodyear bought them out. But we are producing tires sent around the world for cars here in Fayetteville. Eaton makes electric boxes and things for construction, goes all over the world. Man Hummel is a German company, and we have the second largest manufacturing facility for Man Hummel. They make air filters, oil filters, whatnot for automotive. So there's stuff all over the world that has made here in Fayetteville. So there are jobs here in town. You go get the training, you go get the education. We've got careers here.
And just to plug off of that, we post job opportunities every month on our website, again, www.fcedc.com. And we send out a monthly newsletter that you can also sign up for on our website that includes those job opportunities from Man Hummel, Eaton, Goodyear, Walmart Distribution, a lot of our existing industry partners.
Man Hummel, when I see that, I heard that name, I see that that's on Black and Decker Road.
Yes, sir. Right off of Natal Road.
Yep. Yes, Natal.
Yes, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Sir.
Absolutely. You got the next question.
Well, this is a blend of some of the questions I was going to ask you, but you've already answered them, so that is beautiful. So again, let's go into this one. Let's talk about what does economic development success look like for Cumberland County? What does it look like for Cumberland County, economic success? And just blend that into this. It's also truly a team effort. Can you talk about the partnerships that make this work possible?
So I'll take the first one, you can take the second one. So success for us looks like a diversification of the economy. Okay, so we don't just have distribution. We don't just have manufacturing. We've got a variety of different sectors and industries that come here. Why is that important? Supply chains affected, if you were only just a manufacturing, maybe that drops the economy. I used the example last week, 2 weeks ago, that how's Fayetteville changed? We used to be, and we still are heavy, but just a service industry. So when the troops deployed, people lost their jobs because, the jobs dry up when troops aren't here. COVID, if you're a service-only sector, certain things can happen, and that really hurts the economy. So we want to diversify that economy with manufacturing, with distribution, with cyber, with high tech, with medical. So we have a resilient economy here. Those that are looking for jobs, success is they have jobs they can go to. But the other piece, as we talked about with the increasing the tax base, is we have the ability to expand our infrastructure, our community, community quality of life, the schools, everything. We have the ability to do the things that we want to do, but then we also want to have folks that own land, that are interested in developing, to say, hey, I like what's going on, let's further this, I'll sell my land so we can develop it to continue the successes we have. I think really those are some of the successes, what right looks like for what we do, and kind of the end game of what we would like.
That's awesome.
Yes. Question, Ms. Brittany. Economic development is truly a team effort. Can you talk about the partnerships that makes this work possible?
Absolutely. We would be remiss not to be thankful for our partners at Cumberland County. Again, thank you for this spot this morning to be able to talk about economic development. The city of Fayetteville as well, and our private sectors. They are what makes our mission possible, but also our partners at the state. So Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, the North Carolina Southeast Partnership, those two entities really help us with projects, project visits, conferences that I had mentioned earlier. But then, of course, there's our utility partners. There's Fayetteville PwC, Piedmont Natural Gas,
yes.
Duke Energy, NCDOT. It is truly a team sport, because without one, you need the infrastructure for these projects. And, when we do project visits, we have a room of 20 people that come in, and it's a community. It is a team sport. And our win is growing Fayetteville and Cumberland County.
Now, let me throw this out at the both of you. In economic development, what are some of the biggest hurdles or challenges that you're facing, and maybe do you see light at the end of the tunnel? Maybe short term, long term.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of times we call it inventory. So I'll get in a requirement from a project, and they need 500,000 square foot building, so high ceilings, this much infrastructure, whatever. We have a limited right now inventory of buildings that are available, ready to go, that meet some of the requirements that come in. So there's not a lot we can do about that, but we work with developers on, hey, what else can we get built so that we can answer these? The second challenge we have along the inventory line is land. So a lot of companies want to come in like Project Arrow to build their facility. They have requirements on the amount of land they need, whether they need rail access, close proximity to roads. Sometimes they won't want to be, a mile or two away from residential. So having the inventory of land available is probably the second challenge that we have right now. But a lot of the challenges and objections that come to us, we're able to overcome when we can show them we have a way to success for you.
Now, we use the cliche like wherever a big supermarket, Walmart move in, immediately other stores start moving into that area, and all of a sudden you got a plaza, et cetera.
That's right.
Is that the same with like industry as far as if one big industry move in, others start watching that and start gravitating as well?
Yes, and so you can use Goodyear as an example, where they have folks that work machine shop stuff for them and repair parts. You have the storage stuff, you have all the trucking industry that comes with it. So you get a big project like a Project Arrow or Titanium, we call it a magnet project, because they start attracting other companies in. And then third and fourth order effect is, as you get in all those other companies on top of your primary, now you get in, someone can open up a homemaker's furniture again, because we've got that inject, the new revenue coming in, that gives people opportunity to do the things they want. You get the grocery stores, the new housing, all the other things that come in. It really, economic development is a force multiplier for the economy and the community writ large.
Now, you mentioned earlier, and I think some may have heard it, Project Arrow.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that again. That's a really high-end company that's coming in.
It's a big deal. It's about an $800 million investment for phase one.
Ooh, 800 for phase one.
For phase one.
Okay.
300 jobs coming in, manufacturing, and they will be making titanium sheets basically for the aerospace and defense industry so that airplanes and other equipment will be made from titanium that will come from here.
That is awesome.
Okay.
Right here in Fayetteville. That's
Right
going to be
here.
down near the Goodyear plant.
Yes, sir.
Where are they? You said where are they at in their phases right now? Are they starting to break the ground?
So that we're in that process right now. They haven't broken ground. They've done the surveys and that type of stuff. So we're looking in the future. We're still kind of a little bit close hold on some of the details with it, but we are looking in the foreseeable future to see some ground broken and move ahead with that project.
Yes.
Now, if a business is sort of like interested in locating or expanding in Cumberland County, where do they start? Let's say, you know, there are a lot of people who want to start a business.
Right.
What's the beginning stages for that? Maybe people within and people outside.
So do you want to talk kind of the Can-Do loan program real quick?
Absolutely. And to talk a little bit about expanding in Cumberland County, we do have our existing industry partners that we work with. Greg Moore, who was with FTCC and is now with our team, he is a part of going out to Eaton and Walmart and Manhummel and checking in on them. And if they are ever in need of an expansion project right here, we help facilitate grants with the state, EDPNC, the partner up there that I had mentioned. So they help facilitate that. We've worked with Phillips Towing, Showcase Restorations, or just a couple that are already here that have helped expand. But we also have recently released a Can-Do performance financing program. And that information can be found at candocarolina.com/financing. And that is a program for small businesses, 15 employees or less, that do work with the government, PwC, the hospital, that are looking to kind of grow, reach capital expenses. We can offer a grant through that. They can apply. They're basically, the goal is if every job created, they can get $25,000. So 5 jobs, $125,000. There are some qualifications that they'll need to meet, but that information is on our candocarolina.com/financing.
Good. So let me ask you this as well. How can your residents stay informed about the economic development efforts? How do they stay informed? And then what message would you like to leave with listeners during Economic Development Week?
I'll take the first part. Staying informed is easy. We do send out a mid-month memo, so it's our monthly newsletter. You can sign up for that at fcedc.biz/newsletter. Also on our website, www.fcedc.com. That shares all of our announcements, where we've been, where we're going, those job opportunities that I had mentioned, those are shared monthly. But then when you sign up for that, you're also signing up for our press releases. So whenever we have a project that lands and we announce that project, you're going to receive that press release. You're going to receive the information of a program like the Can-Do Carolina Performance Financing that we send out. So you'll stay up to date with that, as well as all of our social media channels.
This is good information.
Yes.
I know people, I think it was the second part you was going to answer. But again, for maybe that person that's on the job working right now or driving and can't write down all that website, again, that phone number, 910-500-6464.
Correct.
910-500-6464. If you call that number, you can get those websites, because there are a lot of people that's interested in starting, and I'm told that small business is really the anchor for any community.
That's correct.
And you mentioned what do you call a small business? Help me out with that. Like, when you go into a larger business, small business, to like personnel wise?
I mean, 10 and less usually is a small business. Or
10 or less.
Yeah, and so then you start getting into some of the bigger ones, and so we're here to help, whether it's small or.
And you help with that. You can help.
So with the Can-Do loan, we definitely do, and and so a lot of times too, we'll help out with connecting to resources. So somebody says, "Hey, I've got a small business having some problems." That's not necessarily our primary task. We'll go, "Hey, I know somebody at PwC. Give me a second. Let me make a phone call, see if I can help you out," or find out who can help that business out, and then connect them with that.
That's critical information, because there are a lot of people trying to start a small business.
Right.
2 or 3 people sometime,
Right.
starting off with that,
Right.
and don't know where to start from.
That's right.
So so that person that's really in our time, we've only got about 4 or 5 minutes left. So for that person right now that's listening, says, I'm trying to start a small business. I only have a small amount of money. Three of us, family per se. How do they start it off? What do they do? Go to Can Do again.
Yeah, they can come to us. Like Rob said, if we are unable to help them just due to some of the qualification parameters, we will connect them with our partners over at the city in their economic and community development. We'll connect them with FSU Hub. We'll connect them with the Small Business Development Technology Center. We work closely with a lot of those entities that have those resources. That if we don't have it, we will definitely send them their information.
Great. So Rob and Brittany, what message would you like to leave with listeners during Economic Development Week?
I think, yes, ma'am. So I think first and foremost, economic development is important. It is really important to get to the quality of life, to get to the, satisfaction, to advance the community, the education, all that. What economic developers do is important and it matters. I really think that first and foremost. And Brittany hit on the relationships. I think it's critical to hit on the relationships networks that we have. We may not be able to solve all the problems, we may not have all the answers, but we know who does. So one of the things we do and do exceptionally well is connect with organizations and individuals to solve problems. I think at the end of the day, the way to think about economic development, we talk about jobs, investment, etc., it's problem solving. I'll phrase it as it is problem solving. How do we as a community attract new jobs and investment? How do we get citizens higher quality of life? How do we help improve school systems? How do we fill in the blank? It is problem solving. That's what we do every day.
And one thing also, it ties into Economic Development Week because this Thursday, May 8th, will actually be a milestone for us. And a year ago this Thursday, we closed on our current building at 611 West Russell Street. And Joel Smith and his family with Homemakers Furniture was incredible to work with. They have a long-lasting legacy in Fayetteville and Cumberland County with their customer service and the support that they provided. And we're going to carry on that legacy. Eventually, our 35,800 square foot building will be an innovation center. It'll be a place for people that are testing products before it makes it to the big show for defense. They can come and test those products in our facility. We'll have 5 training classrooms for people to come and our companies to recruit, train, hire our residents, military spouses, veterans. So it's all coming. We're in there right now and we'll be building out soon. But again, there's a lot of growth that's coming in Fayetteville and Cumberland County, and we're excited.
And it's going to be at that same building?
Yes,
at
sir.
611 West Russell Street.
That's right near Highsmith-Rainey
right next
Hospital.
door. Yes, sir.
This is great information.
I was thinking about a lot of times the youth are out during the summer. Is there anything they fit in anywhere where they can come in for any training or anything that they can kind of get them motivated and helping to create ideas and works for the city?
So what I would submit is we don't necessarily have any internship or apprenticeship programs, but Cumberland County Schools has the ICON program.
Okay.
I know FSU has a couple of internship programs, so we don't necessarily have those opportunities, but there are opportunities in town, whether it's through K through 12, FTCC, FSU, etc., that have interns and apprenticeship type programs.
And along with Mid Carolina Regional Workforce, they are our NC Works. They are our local workforce. They're working with FTCC on a couple programs this summer, so that's another partner of ours that can help with those internships and apprenticeships.
Yep.
Our time has already elapsed. It's moved too fast. Again, you've been listening to Rise and Shine Cumberland County, and this morning we've been discussing economic development with Mr. Rob Payton and Miss Brittany, and they've shared a litany of information. God, we could talk for another 2 hours educating the community. Well, thank you for this time of coming in to help us understand the future. With the last few seconds left, maybe if we squeeze it in, if you had your crystal ball, where do you see Fayetteville going in the next 5-10 years or so, industry-wise?
So industry-wise, I see there's a lot of emerging technologies are coming out, and I see, a lot of drone, counter-drone, kind of those types of things coming, really capitalizing on FTCC's cyber program. And I see some medical stuff coming too, with the medical school coming in, the nursing school expanding that. I see really those three coming for sure. But there's some other things that we can't share yet that we're working on that will be very exciting for the community.
So what we got to do is squeeze you in again. So I'm going to get with Ms. Diane and see if they can squeeze y'all in again to continue to keep us updated.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you for sharing with us. This has been valuable time, because when we realize what our community has coming to us in way of industry, that makes us all happy, because we say, this is home for us.
That's right.
Again,
that's right.
Thank you for pausing to do what you do and to share the information you're sharing. And to our listening community, again, every second and fourth Wednesday, Rise and Shine, Cumberland County will be sharing information that will help you know what's around you and what's coming forth. Continue to stay tuned to a radio station that's knowledge-based and issue-driven. I'm Al McAllister with WIDU, along with
and Dr. Teresa McAllister from Rafa Ministries.
It's 11 until